Good to see you. I hope you are very well. I've got a packed show for you today. First of all, breaking news. Prince William will attend the Pope's funeral on Saturday on behalf of King Charles. What's going on? Is this a slow changing of the guard at the top of the British monarchy? Meanwhile, Prince William is at war with his uncle Prince Andrew. It's my understanding that Randy Andy wants to return to the royal front line, but it's the Prince of Wales who is standing in his way. Plus, Andrew's row over his expensive royal accommodation rages on with his brother King Charles. And at the end of the video, I've got the inside story on how William and Kate will be celebrating their 14th wedding anniversary. It is a lovely story. And also, a special treat at the end of the programme. The moment that a large cat, a very furry cat, interrupted this all-important broadcast. Stick around for that. I think you'll enjoy it. But first, a man who knows the royal family intimately well, Paul Burrell, Diana's former butler, has sensationally revealed that Prince Harry is no longer a Windsor, with King Charles having effectively dumped him from the family. In an extraordinary royal bombshell, Burrell has said that Harry is now, to all intents and purposes, a Spencer rather than a Windsor. The Spencers, of course, being his late mother, Princess Diana's side of the family. Burrell said that when he comes to the UK, Harry is welcomed without hesitation by the Spencer family. Of course, we know when he comes to the UK, he's ignored by William and he's ignored by Charles, with a fresh development, folks, which is that I'm hearing that Charles doesn't respond to his letters and doesn't take his calls. This is serious. This is more than just a Cold War. I think it's a hot war. Burrell says that Harry's natural base is now actually Althorpe House in Northamptonshire, okay, the Spencer family estate where Diana's remains can be found, rather than Sandringham, Balmoral, Buckingham Palace. Really, really shocking. The Spencer family are described as wanting to protect Harry, seeing him as, wait for it, one of their own. So the Spencers, basically, they've taken Harry. They've got the H-bomb. They've got my husband. They've appropriated him. They're love bombing him. Meanwhile, Charles and William are not talking to him, not taking his calls, cold shoulder. This is quite a development and makes the situation in the UK when Harry visits highly political, because let's be clear, there's no love lost between Charles and the Spencers, given how the marriage played out between him and Diana. So Althorpe is their country estate. It's a beautiful place, and that is where he feels most welcome. During his recent UK visit for a court case on security arrangements, Harry reportedly had no contact with Charles or William whatsoever, not even a text message. And although Harry is estranged from the Windsors, he is reportedly very close to his maternal aunts, Sarah and Jane. Burrell states that this closeness with the Spencers gives Harry comfort amid family tensions. Now, Burrell, speaking for Genting Casino, because let's be honest, I know Paul well. He loves a corporate gig. He loves a bit of sponsorship. He doesn't mind a couple of dollars in his back pocket. So he's done this interview for a casino brand. I think, have I been to a casino? I've hosted events at casinos, but I'm no gambler. Okay. This hair is enough of a gamble for me. So he spoke to Genting Casino, and he compared the Spencers' support of Harry to how they stood by Diana when she was having her marriage problems with Charles. He dismissed claims of a rift between Diana and her brother Charles Spencer, saying that Charles never gave up on her and loved her dearly. Burrell claims that Charles Spencer is now offering the same support to the H-bomb, to my husband, to Prince Harry. Now, as I say, I do know Paul Burrell pretty well. He's been on my old TV show a few times. He's a really nice guy. I interviewed him when he was going through his cancer, and also he appeared on a reality show called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and I interviewed him after that. He's a really nice guy. He's very down to earth. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, because people think that he tried to profit from Diana's legacy, but let's be honest, who didn't? But he definitely knows his onions when it comes to the Spencers and to Diana. But I hate to contradict him, but he claims that the Spencers stood by Diana in her darkest hour. But I've been doing some homework on this. And actually, there's plenty of research to suggest that Diana actually felt abandoned by Charles Spencer during her divorce. During her split from Prince Charles, Diana reportedly felt that her brother was not supportive. She allegedly asked to live in a cottage on the Althorpe estate after the separation, but it's been reported that Charles Spencer refused. Diana is said to have been hurt by this rejection, feeling that she had nowhere to go. Also, after Diana's death, Charles Spencer took control of her burial site and the management of her legacy at Althorpe. Some reports suggested that Diana's close friends and even members of the family were unhappy with how commercial the estate had become, especially the exhibition at Althorpe House. There was criticism that he was profiting from her memory, though Spencer has always maintained that it was a tribute. Also, at Diana's funeral, Charles Spencer gave a powerful eulogy in Westminster Abbey, condemning the media and implicitly criticising the royal family. Whilst many admired the speech, others, including some royals, felt it was divisive and politicised the occasion. Some felt he was using the moment to settle personal and family scores. And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't a barrel of laughs for Diana back in the day. She had a very mixed relationship with the wider Spencer family. Diana was closer to her father, Earl Spencer, than her mother, Frances Shand Kidd, with whom she had a strained relationship after her parents' divorce. Diana's mother had left the family for another man. It was all very complicated, and Diana reportedly never fully forgave her and was quite mentally scarred by the whole thing. Also, Diana's in the past, when she was with us, she had fluctuating relations with her sisters Sarah and Jane, although they did reconcile later in life. So, this puts it in some context that, yes, Harry is being love-bombed by the Spencers right now, maybe as a bit of revenge on the Windsors. It could well be that Charles Spencer and the wider family are thinking, well, look, the perfect embarrassment for the Windsors if we now become Harry's main family and he's a Spencer, not a Windsor. That could rankle the firm. That could rankle over at the palace. I was actually reading quite a lot about Diana's childhood and her, life growing up as a Spencer. And she often described her childhood as unhappy and emotionally distant. The Spencer household was aristocratic and very formal, and Diana once referred to her childhood home as a house of pain. So, there are quite significant parallels there, aren't there, between Harry's miserable experience at the palace, at least once he met Meghan, my husband, you're welcome, and then what Diana went through as a child. The emotional disconnect from her early family life arguably contributed to her adult struggles and sense of abandonment. And Charles himself, by the way, Charles Spencer, has had a bit of a complicated life. He's the 9th Earl Spencer. First marriage to a stunning model called Victoria Lockwood, but huge problems there. They courted very briefly, but the union was troubled. Victoria had personal struggles, an eating disorder, substance abuse. Meanwhile, reports suggested that Charles had an affair around the time their first child was born, which Victoria has described as devastating. So bang, straight to the divorce courts there. Second marriage, Caroline Freud, a former classmate, also ended in divorce. The couple had 2 children before separating. Reports indicate that Charles began a relationship with journalist Colleen Sullivan shortly after the separation, leading to further media scrutiny. Was he close to Colleen before the marriage ended? Meanwhile, the third marriage, Karen Spencer. She took the name, of course she did, who wouldn't? Third marriage, she's a philanthropist, Karen Spencer. That lasted over a decade and produced 1 daughter. The marriage ended amidst, wait for it, allegations of infidelity. Karen claimed that Charles informed her of the divorce via text message, a claim he denies. But can we put it out there? It's quite clear that Charles Spencer is a bit of a rogue, isn't he? He's a bit of a swordsman. He's a bit of a card. He is what Hillary Clinton would describe as a tough dog to keep on the porch. He's got a roving eye. He likes a lady. He's currently with Dr. Cat Jarman. By the way, there is an amazing cat in the studio at the end of this video. I promise you, you don't want to miss it. That the studio gets ambushed right at the end. Don't miss it. Now, Dr. Cat Jarman, that's his current squeeze. Will he be faithful to her? We can only hope. She's a Norwegian archaeologist. She's stunningly beautiful. And she's the co-host of a podcast called The Rabbit Hole Detectives. Has she gone down a rabbit hole getting involved with this rather complicated man? Their relationship reportedly began after Charles's separation from Karen. However, Karen alleges that the affair started earlier, leading to legal disputes, including a lawsuit filed by Jarman against Karen for allegedly disclosing her private medical information. What a mess! Anyway, the big headline is that the H-bomb, Harry, has become a Spencer. He's no longer a Windsor. And who's he got to blame? Only himself. Of course he does. I actually think, controversially, although it's his father that has a more forgiving, emollient nature, I think the only way back for the H-bomb is William. Okay? Because William's, he's going to be king at some point. He's a big personality. He's strong-willed. He's furious with Harry. He sees it as the ultimate betrayal. And therefore, that is the bridge he needs to build. Okay, I think that his father, Charles, will go along with whatever William decides. I think that King Charles will say, son, if you forgive him, then it's all good by me. Okay, I honestly think that William holds all the cards. But will the two make up, the two brothers? I shan't hold my breath. Let's be honest, William has effectively waged war on the Sussexes this week by hiring Jason Knauf as the CEO of his environmental award, the Earthshot Prize. Now, don't forget, right, Jason Knauf is the guy behind the allegations of bullying against Meghan. Is Jason Knauf reported Meghan to the palace officials and the Queen had to get involved, okay? So it's very clear that Jason Knauf is a hated figure over in Montecito, California. He is a detested man. And Williams just hired him for a top job. Bang, it's war. Now, speaking to Fox News Digital, Richard Fitzwilliams, a brilliant royal journalist of whom I'm a big fan, said that Prince William's decision to make Jason Knauf the CEO of this special project, his pet project, will infuriate Harry and Meghan. In addition, what makes matters possibly even worse is that it's impossible to avoid feeling that this is what William intended. So basically, Fitzwilliams, who's a great journalist, says that he thinks that William's done this on purpose. He said, as far as the Sussexes are concerned, Knauf undoubtedly has pariah status. But William is clearly showing he doesn't care about what his brother thinks, much less Meghan. So it's apparent now that the royal rift seems permanent. Those are the words of Richard Fitzwilliams, which I always take seriously. I mean, William's got a headache because, you know, it is my understanding that he wants to build bridges and he'd like a way back in. But he's got to get past his brother first. And his brother, at some point, will be the king of the United Kingdom. He will be Britain's sovereign. He will have the crown. He will be living in Buckingham Palace. He will do the state opening of Parliament. It is just, it's the biggest gig on the planet, isn't it? And William will be king. So if the H-bomb hasn't fixed things with his bro prior to becoming king, then he's in real trouble. Because the king could probably have him sent to the Tower. That's the thing. William gets the big gig. He can introduce some draconian law, put it through the House of Commons, and have Harry jailed in the Tower of London. And then you know what you could do as a sort of money-raising exercise? You charge, like, you know, people pay to see the crown jewels, don't they, at the Tower of London? They could pay to look at Harry through a little peephole in the cell, all feeling sorry for himself with that gloomy little face, eating porridge, being miserable. We can but dream. So, folks, there you go. That is the gig. And by the way, there's no chance. I mean, at the moment, there's no chance of a brotherly reconciliation. Don't forget, in the book, Harry described William as prematurely balding. He was obnoxious about his wife, Catherine. He said that his brother doesn't look like Diana anymore. He revealed details of a fist fight they had, which, by the way, not surprisingly, William won. A fight between those two, my money's on William all day long because he's a tough guy, strong personality. He's going to be, by the way, he's going to be an amazing king. I love King Charles and I want him to live forever. But when he finally passes, just think what a rock star king William's going to be. Because even if Charles does another decade or two, William will just be in his, could be in his 50s, in his early 60s when he becomes king. Feel a bit sorry for King Charles. He waited a long time and he became king an older man. That won't be the case with William. He'll be young, he'll have energy, and he'll be an amazing, amazing monarch. Maybe he'll be like one of those more active kings. Maybe he'll wage war on a few territories. What do you think? Do you know what? We haven't had a ruck with France for a while. Send some tanks. Cheers. By the way, this is the decaf today. I've got some massive stories for you, by the way. So we've got Prince Andrew and William at war in just a second. Cat video at the end, and also the anniversary celebration of William and Catherine. I've got the details, but let's have a sip of this lovely decaf. Sweetened with erythritol. Try to avoid sugar. Erythritol or stevia. Those are my two favorite sweeteners. Completely natural and very healthy. Let me recommend. I think they taste good. Anyway, so that is my decaf, which goes down a treat. It's in a dimple mug. Do you know about these? These are very popular in the United Kingdom. I do think it's a British device. And it's got these embedded little grooves. It's got these circular grooves all around it. And because of my commitment to you, to give you an informative and entertaining program, I researched why it's got these circles around it, these grooves, which go in, right? They're kind of embossed. I'm very bad at describing things, but anyway, I think you get my point. There are these, it's like a three-dimensional mug. So the reason why is because when you've got beer in it, 'cause it's a beer mug really, when you've got beer in it and there's condensation, it makes it easier to hold the mug because your fingers go into kind of the crevice. It's a convex design. I think I'm giving you too much information now. But anyway, so it's easier to hold the glass, especially if it's wet. And also, did you know that these grooves that go all around it make it structurally stronger, which is perfect for a beer glass in a pub. Folks, I've got some big news for you, another development, and it's about Prince Andrew versus Prince William. So Andrew reared his ugly head again at the family Easter service. His attendance was described as a show of family unity by royal commentator Phil Dampier. Andrew was accompanied by ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, who still lives with him at the Royal Lodge. He appeared visibly nervous and avoided the press and public after the service. But it's my understanding that he's looking for a return to the royal front line. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that Big Andy should come back in? Because he's not broken the law. We know he's an idiot and he's got bad taste in friends. But should he return? Should he do light duties? Because it's my understanding that William is not having it. So this is all thanks to Phil Dampier, another journalist who I know I like everybody. Well, I do. These are all good journalists. Phil Dampier, again, was on my old TV show. By the way, this is my new TV show. And do you know the big difference between my old TV show and my new TV show? I've got total freedom here. So when I speak, everything you hear, it is 1,000,000,000% what I think. I can be a bit naughtier. I can be a bit wild. And the other big thing about my new TV show, thanks to you, it's a global affair. So many countries watching. By the way, yesterday I went through a list of countries. I forgot to mention the United Kingdom. There are many British people watching this show. And let's be honest, I'm in the UK. I actually live just in front of the River Thames, and I'll have a swim after this. So, we're everywhere. We are in the Republic of Ireland, Mexico, New Zealand, Canada, the United States, the Philippines. I always forget. There's so many countries I forget, but it's unlimited, really. It's just unlimited how many people are watching and where they're watching. And it's so exciting. So thank you for that. Right, let's crack on with what Phil Dampier had to say. He said it's only a matter of time before Andrew is fully integrated as a working royal. However, he tempered the expectations on that and the timeline, saying he's not totally out in the cold, but Prince William is against it. Prince William is reportedly a key figure opposing Andrew's return to frontline royal duties. According to Dampier, although there is a pathway back for Andy, William is one of the driving forces behind making sure there is absolutely no future for the Grand Old Duke of York. The article mentions friction between the two men and suggests that Andrew found it easier to attend the event at Easter because William wasn't there. So there's genuine hatred between the two men. Well, it's understandable. William, you see, he has an impeccable public record. He's been fastidious, hasn't he, as a prince and now as the Prince of Wales. And that sense of royal duty is up there with his grandmother Elizabeth. And therefore, he's very irritated by Harry, who's kind of just basically done a scorched earth policy. And he's very irritated by his uncle, who's done the same thing. Although, let me ask you guys, who's worse now? Who's the worst royal? Is it Randy Andy or the world's least happy millionaire, Prince Harry H? My husband, my husband, my husband.
I like Princess Catherine. She is my friend. Upon her, I wish no harm.
Also, William considers Andrew to be utterly toxic for the royal brand. So that's another argument for Andrew to get moving and rebuild his public profile before William becomes king, because it could be two men in that cell, cohabiting, sharing a bunk bed, and rolling tobacco and God knows what else. Harry and Andrew both incarcerated in the Tower of London. Wouldn't that be a thing of beauty? And Meghan could go and visit Harry in prison. I'm going to visit my husband, and I've bought him some flower sprinkles and some lavender towels and more bloody jam. So much bloody jam. Ooh. She'd love it. Oh, Meghan would love it if Harry was in prison. That's perfect for her. She's got total freedom. She can do exactly what she wants. That's her dream. I think he's in prison in Montecito. I think there's a underground lair, like a serial killer. Do you remember Silence of the Lambs? Do you remember when the bad guys, he's got disgusting, he's in this little crypt where the walls are like dripping with condensation and mold and all that, you know. It's so creepy. I think that's Harry's accommodation in Montecito, and he's in chains. He's chained to the radiator, and only Meghan's got the keys. Andrew's appearance. So we talked about that, and he's gone to that Easter service. So is this the beginning of something? Well, not according to the wishes of William. So who wins that battle? I guess you could argue that's a power struggle between William and his father, Charles, who may wish to bring his brother back into the fold. It's clear that there isn't as much hatred between Andrew and Charles as there is between Randy Andy and William. But there's more headaches for Andrew, because he's battling to stay at the Royal Lodge. Prince Andrew has taken up gardening, apparently, amid the ongoing threat of eviction from the Royal Lodge. By the way, the Royal Lodge, a 30-room mansion near Windsor Castle. Does Andrew need a place that big? I mean, he hasn't got that many girlfriends anymore, has he? So what's he going to do with all those spare rooms? Absolutely ridiculous. But apparently he's been seen pottering around the Windsor estate, asking groundsmen for gardening tips, described as having a spring in his step, despite the eviction row. He reckons he's got enough money because the property needs about £2 million worth of renovations. The rent, let me see, I looked this up earlier. The rent is quite substantial. Let me give you the good numbers here. 30 rooms, 7 bedrooms, a chapel, 6 lodge cottages and a gardener's cottage, 98 acres of grounds. Annual costs, the rent is $250,000 and the annual upkeep 400k. And Andrew thinks that he can pay all of that. And that's his argument to his brother. He's like, let me stick around. I've got the money. I can do this. But I think Charles is irritated. He'd like to repurpose the Royal Lodge and he'd like to put Andrew into Frogmore. And I can understand Andrew's hesitation at going into Frogmore because there's still probably some remnants of Meghan's time there. There's probably a few empty jam pots and some stinky lavender towels and a few locks of her rather voluminous hair. Thanks, but no thanks. So that is the crack. Folks, before we go, I've got to tell you some very good news, which is that Kate Middleton, we shouldn't call her Kate Middleton now. She is Princess Catherine and Prince William are celebrating their 14th wedding anniversary on Tuesday, April the 29th, which is next week. 14 years. Where does the time go? It's a lovely thing. So it's their anniversary, 14 years of amazing marriage. They've had their highs and their lows, but they look good together. They're a stunning couple. They've got 3 great kids, and they have battled so many problems, particularly Catherine's cancer, for which she is now mercifully in remission. So this is a special celebration, isn't it? She's cancer-free. And what they're going to do, they're going on a 2-day visit to Scotland. And they're going to go to the Isle of Mull. And they're going to go to Scotland's west coast. The purpose of the visit, to meet craftspeople, farmers, and local residents. They're going to drink a bit of whiskey. William likes to drink, and so does Catherine. Do you know it's St. Patrick's Day? Catherine has a little half of Guinness. You know, they're both very sociable people, and they're going to have a great time in Scotland. So, and isn't that romantic? Just in the Highlands and the Islands. And yes, they'll do some royal duties, but then in the evening, they'll be by a lovely fireside, and William will be nursing his little whiskey, and lovely Catherine. What will Catherine have? Maybe a little half of a good Scottish ale, maybe like a McEwan's ale or Alloa. I lived in Scotland for 4 years. I know my way around the breweries of Edinburgh. So they'll be there. There'll be some haggis. There'll be a roaring fire. She'll be head to toe in tartan, won't she? And if there's any luck, if there's any hope, then old William will be he'll be in a kilt. Wearing underpants? Who knows? I daren't speculate. He'll be king one day, and I don't want to wind up in the Tower of London with William and Andrew. Harry and Andrew. I think I need more decaf. Right, you've got to wait for the cat video. It's quite extraordinary. But I'm delighted that they're celebrating 14 years, and they'll have a lovely time in Scotland. And so what I was saying is they'll do their royal duties, but they'll have a lovely break as well. It's a quiet place. There's no big press attention there. They will just enjoy themselves. It's rustic, it's wild, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's exactly where they want to be because they're always in demand. Brief moment of controversy. Some people are not happy that they did not attend the family royal service. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think that the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Catherine, should have attended the Easter ceremony? A few of you have said that no, it's their duty to go. It's an important religious occasion, bring the family together. But I still think after the year or two that they've had, they were entitled to have a private break. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And finally, I will say adieu. I don't know when the next video is going to be because I don't want to say tomorrow and then you don't get one tomorrow because I never want to let you down. And so what I would say is subscribe if you can and hit the notification bell. There's like a bell icon. And then that means that when a show drops, you get alerted to it, okay? And that's it. So I can't wait to see you very shortly for the next video. Could be tomorrow. It'll certainly be very soon. Keep your eyes peeled. By the way, thank you for the kind comments. You are always very generous in what you're saying. Let me know what you're liking about the show. Let me know what you're not liking about the show. I'm at your service. This is our show, not mine. Except earlier today when I started this recording, and I was ambushed by a feline. And I'm not talking about Meghan Markle, my husband. Take a look at this. How am I supposed to get any work done when the cat turns up? I mean, this is a professional broadcasting outfit. Seriously. You know, you're going to absolutely destroy my YouTube numbers. This is Reg. Say hello to Reg. Don't be shy. You're a show-off. This is not even my cat, let me tell you. This cat, he's one of those cats that lives in multiple homes. He has an owner that loves him very much, but he's very unfaithful, and he goes from house to house to house. I don't know if you know, there is a really nice English children's illustrated book called Six Dinner Sid. And it's about a family who own a lovely cat called Sid. And it's only towards the end of the story that they discover he's been having 6 dinners every day across 6 different households. Well, this is 6 Dinner Reg, who is a very greedy character. We thought he was a girl at first. It was very confusing. Anyway, so he's basically shared by the community. And I would like him to spend more time with his owner. But what are you going to do? He's got a mind of his own. And he's not a house cat, which means if he leaves the house, he's going to go where he wants to go. And I do feel quite privileged and quite honoured that he's chosen us among other neighbours. And that's it, really. That's the crack. But there you go. What I will tell you is, he's a great personality. Right, time to get on with some work. think he's asleep. This is very unhelpful.